As we move to the time of year when we have great outdoor weather, there will be substantial demand on Adelaide's range of amenities, and we have a lot. We do need to ensure that we encourage people of all ages to use these amenities for the purpose they were designed. Along come a group of young BMX riders who are faced with the reality that their favourite track at Edwardstown is going to be razed by, you guessed it, the Department of Infrastructure and Transport. The reason? Well, they haven't provided one. When asked to do so, they've continued to refuse requests. Now, should this go ahead, a travesty of administration and bureaucracy will be allowed to trounce the interests of so many young people who live in the district. And I respectfully remind this and all departments and people who are public servants, it is public service, not public servitude. We've also reached out to Tom Koutsantonis, the Minister, and in fact he sent this statement, and you'll be somewhat encouraged to hear this, and I'll read it verbatim. I have asked the department to review this decision with no further action to be taken in the interim. So let's talk to the Mayor of the City of Marion, Kris Hanna. Kris, good morning. Tell us your thoughts.
Well, good morning, Leon. Of course, this site next to Edwardstown Railway Station is in the City of Marion, but it's not council land. It's owned by the state government. Look, I've been past there literally hundreds of times, and I've seen the boys in the area, mostly boys, some girls, mostly I'd say ages sort of 8 to 15. They've been getting out there with the shovels and rakes and what have you and creating little jumps, and then they go there after school and jump over the jumps and the mounds on their bikes and have a great time. So normally you would think it's something to be encouraged. I went out this morning and had a look. Leon, there are some areas there which are suitable for little kids where they've just got more or less a little trail with a few little mounds. Presumably that's not a concern. But certainly for the older and more experienced riders, they've created some pretty impressive jumps. And you do need to know what you're doing. For example, there might be a 1.5 metre gap between some of the jumps. So you've got to, fly through the air and land on the other side. But the point is that for the little kids that are inexperienced, there's no way in the world that they would try that sort of thing. It's something you build up to. And they've created it to suit their own level of experience. So I would be surprised if this is going to be taken away from them. I'm really glad to hear that Minister Tom Koutsantonis has had a look at this and has at least hit the pause button, because I think he is pretty community-minded, and I reckon he'll come back and say, leave the kids as they are.
Well, you know what? That'll be a good decision, because I know in this era we're obsessed with risk, and I understand that there are many circumstances where that can be justified. But I think that this is not one of those circumstances, surely, because we're trying to get young people to get out, get some fresh air, do things, don't sit in front of a screen all day. So the last thing we need to be doing is making it hard for them to do an alternative.
And Leon, it's even more than just the fresh air and exercise. These young lads have got out there and built this themselves.
Yes,
I've seen them do it. Like it's not their parents or anyone coming in with a bulldozer or anything. They've gone out there and built it up over the years, and it's their enterprise, their initiative that they're wanting to hold on to, I suppose. So it would be a real shame to see that discouraged.
Yes.
I suspect the boys that are using this track and the ones that built it, they're not the ones who are doing graffiti and breaking into homes. They've got something positive to hold on to, something they've created for themselves, something they can go and do after school. I think these are probably the leaders of tomorrow that have gone out and built this.
So your message to the bureaucrats on this?
Well, listen to the minister. And I really fully expect the minister will do the right thing here and lead the track for the kids on what would otherwise be a bit of wasteland underneath the pine trees there. It's not going to be used for anything else. So why not let them be?
Kris Hanna, Mayor of the City of Marion. Sounds like a bit of practicality to me. What about you? What do you think? Let's talk to Bike SA's Brett Gillett. Hi, Brett. How are you?
Very well, thanks.
Your thoughts on this?
Well, as the peak body for recreation and commuter cycling in South Australia. It's our mission to get more people riding bikes, and it's for the benefit of our health, our mental health, our well-being, the social connection that it creates, and not to mention the environment.
Yep.
And the way we do this as an organisation is to chip away at the barriers that prevent people from riding bikes. And we know that cycling infrastructure is one of the main barriers. In fact, we know that 69% more Australians would ride their bike if we had better and safer infrastructure. And this includes our rides and recreational infrastructure like we're talking about now.
Are you encouraged by the statement from Minister Koutsantonis that we reported this morning?
Yes, I think it's an encouraging sign. And look, we're, as an advocacy voice for community cycling in SA, we do sit around the table and have these discussions with state government and local councils as well about what their plans or intentions are with cycling infrastructure moving forward. And it is on their radar. Obviously, there's some challenges and some priorities that they work through, but our discussions that we're having with the new government are very positive. And the fact is, Leon, that strip it all away, and what we need is more kids riding bikes. Only 25% of our kids aged between 5 and 14 are getting enough physical activity.
Yes.
And then if you look at our, the youth age between 15 and 17, then we're talking around 13% of kids are being involved. So when they're on a bike, they're off their screens and being active.
Absolutely. Look, thank you for coming on. That's from Bike SA, Brett Gillett. I'm glad that Will and David took this up this morning on AA Breakfast, because we're moving into a beautiful outdoor season where to do anything outdoors, even if it's lying on a hammock, can be a good thing. For me, it's walking the pups and taking them to a cafe and giving them a treat. No sugar, of course. But what a great time of year to be out and about, eh?